Welcome to the Enterprise Excellence Podcast, where our purpose is to help create a better future. Learn from our world's experts how to improve your organisation sustainably. Learn how to achieve and sustain an excellence journey for yourself, others, and the planet.
And I'm your host, Brad Jeavons, coming to you from Brisbane, Australia. We are proudly brought to you in association with SA Partners, a world-leading business transformation consultancy. SA Partners are a truly purposeful company focused on helping organisations achieve sustainable improvement for themselves, others, and the planet. Welcome to episode 120 of the Enterprise Excellence Podcast, the end of season 3, 2022.
Yeah. Wow. I can't believe we've been here for 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years, heading for 4 next year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's gone quick. I guess it's been a crazy 3 years, but we hope this one's been a really amazing one for all our listeners. We hope you've had a lot of success and a lot of great times with family and friends and work colleagues, and that you have a great Christmas to come and festive season.
Yeah, this is our last podcast for this year. We hope to be back on board when the kids go back to school next year. So
yeah, late January, early Feb.
Late Jan, early Feb, and yeah, we've got a lot happening already for next year. So we'll look forward to sharing that with you all.
Yeah, a lot of good episodes coming up, a lot of good sharing of knowledge. But today's about just reflecting on the year that's been a little bit. We've had the most amazing guests when it comes down to it. But I think where I'd like to start off is just recognising one of the amazing people in our industry of enterprise excellence and continuous improvement, Peter Wilmot, that sadly passed away a week or so ago. And Peter, he's been a long-term colleague with all the people at SA Partners and many other people around the world in the sphere of enterprise excellence for decades. And it's really sad for hear about his passing. And Peter shared a great episode with us on total productive maintenance back in episode number 98.
Yeah, together with his co-authors, they actually won a Shingo Prize for that book. And he really talks so passionately about leaving a legacy of TPM.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a real joy to listen to. So we'll link that one out in the show notes.
Yeah, I think that's what came through with me with Peter is just the passion, but also the care and that respect that he spoke with. You could just tell from he was a wonderful man, and I think the industry will surely miss his knowledge, but it's so great that it's been captured in that book TPM, and I'm sure many of you already own that book. Like this book here, I'll bring it up. This book here, The Foundation of Operational Excellence, TPM, Total Productive Manufacturing, I think is what they're terming it because it covers really holistically manufacturing and everything that goes with it.
I'll pop it up.
Yeah, pop it up in the back view. What was the big takeaway for you this year, Lou, listening and editing and working through all the release of all the podcasts?
I think that there's so much knowledge out there, and there's so many people willing to share it, and you know, they're all contactable. All the guests have been happy to share their contact details, and you know, they're all there for us to learn from, and they're all there to help us out along the way. That's what really came through for me. Yeah,
and I think I love it for the fact that, you know, like our purpose is to create a better future through organisations getting better, and then people end up with better lives and more wealth, but also the planet through getting that culture of continuous improvement and innovation focused on more than just, you know, economic gains, but also environmental. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing that I guess everyone in this space shares that same view.
Yeah.
They're just so willing to give and so willing to help, which is amazing.
Yeah. Like I know a lot of our listeners are in the business themselves and in the continuous improvement field, a lot of them, and you know, what you're learning too and passing on to all your colleagues is awesome, and really helping spread the message too from the inside out.
Yeah.
It's really good.
The big insight for me this year has been the whole concept of really keeping it simple and working to bridge the knowing doing gap. You know, that gap between someone knowing some knowledge and being able to apply it. And of course, simplicity plays a large part, which is key with when you look at how can you develop an approach that is so simple that people can just get it so easily, but then practically start to apply it so quickly. There's been so many guests this year talking, of course, Jeff Sutherland and Avi Schneer from the agile side is all about that, empowering the front line and simplicity. But then I think also recognise people like Paul Dean. I think Paul Dean, who heads up CI for Australia Post, he spoke a lot about simplicity. I think even Ian Glenday and Rick Sather on Lean RFS, when you look at it, what they've done is they've simplified Heyunka or Hejunka, depending on how you say it, levelling and planning. I guess getting rid of buzzwords helps with that.
Yeah.
It's been something I've been working hard on this year.
Yes, yeah. I think, making it simple for everyone, but also there's been a real focus on changing the HR structure, I think, to really value the employee and really understand the employee with employee journey mapping and
also just getting involved in the CI journey, HR playing a big role in that and collaborating with it, whereas in a lot of companies traditionally it hasn't been that way. It's been one division running CI and another not. You think back to the episode by Yves Moriox, where he spoke about keep it simple, and his book is basically on that. But then Yves talks a lot about focusing on the people systems and understanding the people, and then working to tweak the one or two things, behaviours that really allow a company to shift. It's been a common theme this year.
Has been. Yeah, people matter.
Yeah, people matter. The simpler we can keep it, the better.
Yeah.
I've had a massive journey recently also in that I was losing some faith with training, I must admit. Because a lot of training gets done and it seems a very little amount bridges over to the getting applied. And I think the days of PowerPoint being so extensive and long and boring had gone.
Long and boring.
Yeah. I was fortunate to work with a company late this year and ongoing I will called Expression for Growth. And Alex and Gareth and Nick, the caliber of what they develop in their training and how well they deliver it so that it's fully experiential. Because I ain't thinking this morning, it's like really they're entertaining, and getting people's hands all over the content and all over the practice has really opened my eyes to how amazing training can be. And I think you apply then coaching off the back of unbelievable training that people have an amazing experience but get to apply the learning constantly throughout it. Like they're not sitting there falling asleep watching slide after slide. Yeah, that takes things to another level.
Yeah.
Naturally people want to learn, but we torture them with just death by PowerPoint.
Yeah, I think, that's probably come out of COVID too, is that realisation that we don't all want to just be stuck behind a computer screen anymore, and we want to be interacting with people, and it's an energetic flow, isn't it? And I'm an early childhood teacher by trade, and that's exactly what we learnt.
Yeah.
Teaching young children who've got such a short attention span is how to keep kids actively engaged, and we want the same.
Yeah. Well, I'll sneak peek on that. I've actually asked Alex from Expressions for Growth to come on and talk on training, and he'll be on early in the new year. And I think for a lot of us who have trainers come into our company or who are running training, it'd be an episode not to miss, because a lot of money gets spent on training and also a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I now know how well it can be done, which just blew me away. And it's been a stress trying to get up to that level. I tell you, I think I've got grayer even more over the last month or two, but worked hard, everyone, and I feel I'm up at I'm getting there. But a lot further to go, but that's given me faith, because the great thing about training is you can train a lot of people at once. You can have a solid classroom and really spread knowledge really well. The negative of training has just been the quality of that transfer to actually habit and behaviour. But I think there's ways to do it and there's ways to do it. And this is exciting going forward.
Yeah, that's cool.
Help more bridge that gap. Yeah. What else has been for you, the highlight for you with our people on the show this year, Lou?
a focus on behaviours, really.
Mm.
Like, really, all change comes down to a change in behaviour.
Yeah.
And a change in habit. And if the target behaviours can, again, be simple, just one or two, and really be modelled well by the top kind of level, by the middle level, and really embodied by everybody. That's how change can happen, just simply.
Yeah.
One step at a time, one behaviour at a time. And I think that came through this year too, is kind of enveloped under that simplicity, is just take one behaviour at a time.
Yeah.
And try and really embed it in the day-to-day kind of action. And once it is, I think we had someone, you might remember, talk about, there was a meeting kind of for the front line, I think it was, and if anyone was late, they had to bring a cake to the next meeting. So they were really focused on punctuality.
I think that was Chris Butterworth mentioned about that.
That was very memorable. And, eventually, and it didn't take very many cakes, everyone was on time.
Yeah.
And so they could kind of cross punctuality off the list and move on to the next behaviour. And so it can be fun as well.
Yeah. I remember with, we had Dirk Krause on the show earlier this year, and Dirk has a big background in a lot of Japanese companies. And Dirk spoke on strategy deployment, which I think is critical. Ultimately, if you can get team members having some sort of vision and goal and purpose to it, and then they've got some aspirational measures they're chasing towards it, you're going to start to get the behaviours of forward momentum and continuous improvement innovation happening. Mm-hmm. But I was at an event with Dirk. I actually went and did training with he and Victor Krause, who's also been on the show this year, on skills at Gemba, leading from the front and coaching. And Dirk was saying that a lot of the training that they did throughout their years was just in time. Like, it was about setting up a team and helping that team get its vision and meaning behind it, the purpose and its goals, and then understanding its challenges, its current state, and then applying learning rapidly, like literally, say 5S, 20-minute overview of 5S, and then straight away into applying it and learning by doing. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, that's powerful. Mm-hmm. Because if a team has a goal to, maybe up their performance, the reliability of equipment they've maintained, let's say a maintenance department, and the meaning behind it is purposeful because they believe in serving their internal customers and being the best at what they do, or, ensuring that the best outcomes happen. And then maybe one of their biggest constraints is just finding the right parts or having the right parts when they need it and the right tools. Well, if we apply rapid learning on 5S right then and there and help them rapidly apply it, they're gonna pick it up, because you're helping them with the training, virtually pull the training in, because it's training to help them overcome a challenge that they're facing right then and there. Mm-hmm. But there's that emotion and motivation behind it by all the people straight away too, to apply it. The fact Dirk mentioned that it could be done within 20 minutes, I can see that. None of these concepts are that complex. Mm-hmm. They're all pretty simple. It's just enabling people to learn right when they're motivated and in a simple, fun way, and get their hands dirty straight away.
Yeah, and if they can be working in their own environment, setting that up as part of the training. Yeah, how cool is that?
Yeah, really good way to go.
Yeah.
I think the final thing for me on simplicity was just recently Chet Richards' episode, where he was talking about some pretty complex stuff with John Boyd, energy maneuverability, creation destruction theory, and all this latest military tactics and techniques that have come out of the work that he and others and John Boyd did. But Chet made a comment towards the middle of the episode where he was talking about a lot of the latest military techniques of observe, orientate, decide and act that comes out of John Boyd's work. But he mentioned that ultimately in an organisation, when you apply it there rather than military, it's about constant learning. I was even thinking myself this morning, I was thinking, wow, that's, it's ultimately what it's about. If you could have every person and every team in the company learning aligned to customers rapidly, planning based on that learning, doing improvement, and then learning from that improvement and customers again and going again, which I think is ultimately the techniques of Toyota Carter or Agile. But I've just wrote down on my page, plan, do, learn. Plan, do, learn. You know, if you can get that sort of loop going, it's ultimately what it's about as a human. You know, because as a human, if you're aligned to customers and you have some sort of meaning behind it, and you're constantly planning, doing something, learning, and from that learning, planning again, doing something, learning, plan, do, learn, and you can get the speed of that up, wow, you're in a good spot. So I think that, again, to me is how can we simplify things? You know, the power of three is often a good technique to think about. Whenever things can be in a structure of three, it's often pretty easy for people to remember.
Yeah, Chet also spoke about, you know, the importance of getting to an act kind of stage. He didn't want to get stuck in the planning.
Yeah.
You know, it was really important to catapult out of that and put something into action and learn from it. So,
especially in a military context, put too much thought into something, and bad outcomes. Yeah, but I think it's that constant learning, and the more we can help people to constantly learn what they want to learn, which is aligned, that's all where it's at, really. And you'll get that forward momentum, but it's a constant thing, isn't it? It's not a once-off.
Yeah.
It's a constant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you hear a lot of the statements of a learning organisation. Well, that's what a learning organisation is, I guess. An organisation that's going through plan, do, check, act continuously, or really, I see that the check and act is about the learn piece. Plan, do, learn. Plan, do, learn. Plan, do, learn. And through that, you're adapting constantly. The final guest on simplicity I want to mention is Dr. John Cotter. I think his dual operating model is such a great model or system for any organisation to look to transform. I think he's really, again, simplified a transformation model that allows the company to have a culture of CI, continuous improvement in its day-to-day teams, but then also really crank up its ability to execute big projects through that matrix-style dual operating system. And yeah, credit to John. It was such an honour having him on the show too. And I think that's an episode that I'd recommend everyone go back and listen to if you haven't already. Definitely listen to Dr. John Cotter on episode 112.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great listening to really one of the gurus, and he does make it so simple. Yeah. Well,
I found that with a lot of companies I've been engaging with this year, like there's two parts to it. Like one part is just, does the company have a way to execute bigger things, projects? And to me, I think that's part of the root cause of a lot of company challenges is, one, they either don't know where they're going and don't have a vision and goals and meaning behind it. And then secondly, do they have a way that they execute big projects and then also lead and manage it? Like, I should say sponsor it in a way, you know, that executive action team. That's been a big one. And the other one for me is just the amount of challenges that are caused by planning that's not as good as it could be. And when I say planning, I'm not really talking strategic, I'm talking operational planning, supply chain planning, you know, where that is causing chaos through the system of frontline, you know, where your production planning's all over the place or constantly changing and got no structure or rhyme to it. The factory's just constantly chasing its tail. And then also the supply chain's the same, or a hospital's the same, or anything's the same. You know, when your day-to-day planning's got no rhythm to it. I think Ian Glenday and Rick Sather, to me, like Rick was just on the community, so we've got the Enterprise Excellence Community and Academy where people get online each month to talk to these global experts, and if you ever want to get involved with that, reach out to Emily or I. But Rick came on and actually spoke to that group, and it was just a conversation with Rick, which was amazing because I think the group really valued that, just having a conversation with him and being able to ask their own questions and get their own knowledge from him. But it's so simple what they've both done to help companies really get control of how they plan and get some... Because what it does, good planning then gets people in a calmer environment that then allows people the time and headspace to actually improve stuff. Whereas when they're living in chaos, they can't improve. They're just all over the place. And that was a highlight for me this year too. I've always known it. Like their book, Lean RFS, has always been one of my favourite books ever in this space. And it was just an honour to have them both on this year, and then also have Rick talking to the community, which was just great.
Do you have it in the bookcase?
Yeah, I got it in the bookcase. Lean RFS. Here it is here. There it is, Lean RFS by Glendale and Sather. Amazing book. Especially if you're starting to think about MRPs and softwares and technology to try get control of planning. I think Rick and Ian really dispel the need for that, really. I think before you invest huge money in any sort of technology or approach for planning, read that book first.
Yeah.
You know, and then consider what you do. Because sometimes software can cause more pain than what it's worth.
Yeah.
I think talking to Eve Modiox on that, you know, Eve spoke about the decline in our world's productivity, which leads to a decline in the economic position of our future generations. And it's actually gone backward faster through this era of technology than it's ever gone before. What was it? In 1950s, it was 5% year up to 6% year-on-year productivity growth, which meant the next generation's doubly better off. Now we're below 1%, which by the time you even that out between where the money sits in this world, it's basically got to mean people go backwards, especially smaller to lower to middle income type positions are going to go backwards. And you can see it, can't you? Like, you don't even have to try guess if that theory's right. You see it playing off now with the housing affordability and everything that's going on. And I think sometimes we just have to simplify what we do and also think about the purpose of technology. Because technology, like Eve said, can make us more productive. It can help us achieve great things. But buying and implementing technology for the sake of technology without being really clear on best practice and how do you actually get flow and efficiency for customers first. Oh, God. One of the worst things is just the plethora of communication bloody technology we've got. Like, I was working with a company on time management the other week and training them on deep work and time optimization and time management. And my God, when you look at how many communication systems they had that could be bleeping or beeping at them any moment of the day, I think it could have been like 8. Bring back the letter and phone some ways. At least you had nothing distracting you throughout the day.
Yeah, and it's hard to turn it all off.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
You just look at the work on flow by some of the great people like Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, where he said it takes 15 minutes to get in flow, where you're in high performance focused work, and you think, how many moments in your day do you have 15 minutes without distraction at the moment?
It's not a long amount of time, really.
It's not, but
15 minutes.
yeah, but that without a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in businesses and organisations it would not be that common. That people have a 15 minutes of without a distraction where they can focus. There's a whole can of worms there.
Maybe that could be the first behaviour to bring in for people, and so they get an hour with no
distractions. Yeah.
Could be good.
There's a whole heap of techniques to make that happen. But I think this is a year of simplify and focus. And boy, have we had some good guests on for it. And I think there'll be a lot more coming in the new year, because this is definitely where we got to go. And I think it's too complex. It's not going to help anyone. But also to anything that's not applied on exactly what needs to happen to make things better for customers and for people and for the planet, it's not worth it either. And I think we've had 20 to 30 years of just deploying technology and deploying things for the sake of doing it without actually thinking,
is that working for us?
Yeah, what's that going to do for our customers, our people and the planet? And I think that's what's got to change, is that focus on flow and focus on culture and behaviour, like you said, and focus on getting that outcome. You know the right leading measures, know the right lagging measures, where you're going with it, your vision, and hone everything towards that. It's not difficult, is it?
It sounds easy, but
it's not. It's what's the old saying? It's simple, but it's not easy.
Simple, but not easy.
Yeah, I think that was Deming. I think on that side of things. But anyway, we value our listeners and we value everyone who's been on the show this year. Like, thank you for sharing and helping us create a better future. And as listeners, if you have anyone or a topic you'd really like to get on the show, please reach out. Go to the website. You can contact us via the website, enterpriseexcellencepodcast.com, or you can get Emily and I on LinkedIn and reach out to us, or give us a call. Like the the numbers on the website. So
Yeah.
just call or text and let us know any ideas you've got for the new year. You know, for us, it's about getting the right knowledge and the right data out there to help people at the right time. Mm-hmm. It's the beauty of a podcast, because you can go back to that episode just in time when you need it.
Mm-hmm. I know one of our listeners got onto the podcast by looking at going to Gemba, information, and he just started at episode 1 and now he's up to number 60, I think.
Oh.
And there's a lot of history now. You can go back and have that weekly aha moment.
Yeah, well, I think too, referring back to people like Peter and these legends of our world, I think it's Peter Wilmot. I think it's just amazing that we're able to capture this knowledge, because it's not gonna disappear. This knowledge is relevant now, and it'll be relevant in 100 years, I'm sure. Because it's not. Yes, technology is an enabler, but it's ultimately about the people and the customer centricity and the planet that counts.
Yeah.
And like, if you focus your energy on what do we need to do there, and then if technology helps enable that or make it faster, smoother, easier, cool. But when it's the other way around and it's technology led and it doesn't involve the people, it slows it down.
Yeah.
And it just seems technology just comes in just for the sake of it. It's like just all gets deployed. Anyway, enough of a rant on technology.
Brad's still a bit tired from his latest trip, and he came back fuming about technology. So
yeah, I've been in Thailand with companies over there, working there, which was great to see. Wonderful people, the Thai, just so lovely. I really enjoyed everyone I met with there and helped out. Yeah, beautiful people.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone. Thank you for listening, and thank you for all you do to help other people on the planet with all the efforts you put in. And we look forward to getting back in the new year. And we hope you have a safe, wonderful, festive season with your family. Get to have a good relax and spend time with those that count most. And look forward to talking again in the new year.
Yeah. Take care everyone over the holidays, and hope that Santa finds you all. We're wearing the Santa face here. So yeah, hope all your kids have been nice and not naughty. And Santa finds them.
Yeah.
Brings them lots of cheer.
Our 4-year-old daughter Miranda is right in the thick of Santa mode, and she so excited.
Learned today from the swimming teacher that there's an elf behind every lamppost.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how Santa finds out.
Oh.
There's an elf behind every lamppost.
So she's been checking out every lamppost.
Checking them out.
Lovely.
Yeah.
She's a good gig. She's a wonderful girl. Well, thanks everyone. Been a pleasure, and we look forward to talking to you again in the new year.
Yeah, take care. We'll see you in 2023.
Whoa. Bye.
Bye.